Welcome to the famous landmark of Heidelberg, the Heidelberg Castle. Very little is known about the construction of this charming castle. All that is certain is that the construction on the castle began in the early 14th century. However, because each successive heir to the throne invariably chose to alter the design plans of the preceding monarch, the project was never really completed. Heidelberg, and its castle in particular, has had a long and troublesome history. This is why we only can see a part of the castle's former glory today. The construction was halted in the 17th century with the outbreak of the 30-Year War, and in the coming centuries, the castle will be subject to destruction rather than construction. The castle was under its first attack in 1622, when the Holy Roman Empire commander General Tilly captured it. 11 years later, Swedes laid siege to the castle, and General Tilly was forced to hand it over. He later retook it in 1635. In 1688, French troops marched into Heidelberg and took the castle without a fight. When the French withdrew 1 year later, they had a tactic of destroying the enemy fortifications before leaving, in hope of preventing future attacks. Thus, the castle was set on fire, and the front of the largest tower, also known as Fat Tower, was blown up. Immediately after the French had left, the walls and towers were rebuilt. When the French attacked again, 2 years later, they failed to take the castle. The French then changed their tactics and destroyed parts of the town of Heidelberg instead, to cut off the supply lines for the castle. This in turn forced the surrender of the castle in 1693. This time, the French finished off the work they started earlier and blew up the remaining walls and towers. To put things simple, the castle had some rough times, and it did not stop there. After the peace treaty was signed in 1697, peace was finally brought to the town and its castle. Since the castle was so badly damaged, plans were to pull down the castle and reuse the parts for a new palace in the valley. When difficulties with this plan became apparent, the castle was instead patched up. And when the Elector of Palatine at the time, Karl Theodor, wished to hold his court in the castle, disaster struck again. On June 23, 1764, the day before Karl Theodor would move into the castle, lightning struck the court building, not once, but twice, which once again set the castle ablaze. Karl Theodor saw this as a sign from above, and quickly changed his moving-in plans. In 1777, Karl Theodor became the ruler of Bavaria, in addition to the Palatine, and removed his court from Mannheim to Munich. Thus, Heidelberg Castle receded even further from his thoughts. During this time, the castle became misused as a source of building materials, and even as early as 1767, the south wall was quarried for stones to build Schwetzingen Castle, the summer residence of Karl Theodor. The castle was also looted on material by the townsfolk, who used it for their houses. This was stopped around the year 1800 by the French Count Charles de Greinberg, who made any effort he could to preserve the Heidelberg Castle. In the late 19th century, there was a debate whether or not to completely restore the whole castle. In the end, this was considered impossible. It was, however, decided that it would be possible to preserve the castle in its current condition. Only the Friedrich building, whose interiors were fire damaged but not ruined, would be restored. Today, many visitors find the mixture of beautiful buildings and ruins very charming. One must-go place when visiting the castle is its garden. When you're in the castle garden, spend some time and explore its hidden beauties. In the garden you can find big grottos on the upper terrace. the little benches with their history, and many beautiful statues and fountains. The most prominent statue is Father Rhine, symbolizing the most important river in Germany. The statue rests on a stone bed, surrounded by water. He's not that hard to recognize. There are not too many white statues of half-naked men with long beards around. I'm sure you'll find him. Standing on the terrace, you will have a great view of Heidelberg. From here, you can see all the roofs of old Heidelberg city, the maze of its little cobbled streets, the church and the Neckar River with the old bridge. Another charming place is the wine cellar. When entering the cellar, you will be greeted by the cellar master and court jester, Perkio. He works 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. He's also made of bronze and rather small, but nonetheless welcoming. The cellar also houses one of the biggest wine kegs in the world, the Great Vat. It has a capacity of over 220,000 liters, or 58,000 gallons, and was for long the largest wine barrel in the world. The Great Vat was installed in 1751 with a direct connection by pump to the main banquet hall. There has never been any reports of wine shortages at the Heidelberg Castle banquet. One last mention goes to the Triumphal arch, known as Elizabeth's Gate, located near the entrance. Tradition says the gate was built in a single night by Prince Elector Friedrich V in 1615 as a birthday present for his English princess Elizabeth Stuart. The charming little gate was severely weather-worn and was partially restored in 1949. The unique pillars are noteworthy because their leafwork and artistic flowered capitals. I recommend you pay it a visit. Today, the castle ruins are among the most important Renaissance structures north of the Alps, and the castle is visited by many tourists each year, not only because of the beautiful structures and statues, but also due to its rich history. Enjoy your stay at the Heidelberg Castle.